What's up, CyberCards? We're back almost. It's the 2020-2021 season, Game Changers, and I think Infinite Recharge Part 2, but I'm not sure. So, here we go. Let's go. I want to make a quick video to educate y'all a little bit on what's happening here and with all the changes and stuff. So, here we go. Topics of discussion today are the schedule. Leadership class has been moved to online, kind of. New team member documents, portal. How we're going to work through money, off-season and build season plans for both FTC and FRC, improvements for next year, cage match alternatives, and changes in the classroom that you might be seeing. So here we go. On Monday, Mr. Knight shared with us the focus of our school, again, is to serve a diverse community, which is what we do as a team, right? We try to be as diverse and supportive and serve as much as we can, from STEM days to opening the care pantry and so on. And we spend a lot of time developing the independent thinkers of engineers and how to solve problems when things don't go the way they're supposed to go, how to communicate with each other. And then he really focused on this excel in an ever-changing world. And that is where this world is right now. It was what's changing. We don't really know what's going to happen tomorrow. So he focused on us staying together, right? And we can succumb anything if we stick together. And I think as a team, if we stick together and handle our little corner of Southport, I think, and we fly as one with everybody else, I think we're going to be okay. So remember, we can't get bogged down with stuff that we can't control. We have to control the controllable and focus on finishing this year. So what does that mean for us? Nothing much has changed, right? Our mission is still, from the adult perspective, to make self-confident and creative leaders who are career ready. And our vision for a team from the adult perspective is to empower students to connect them to their passions, inspire them to become passionate experts, and encourage them to communicate their passions with the community. That's still our little piece of the puzzle, right? Our job is to give students hope and provide them with opportunities. And that is our little piece of our school culture, and our little part of owning that cardinal is we provide kids hope by giving them the opportunity to display their passions. So he also pointed out that this is what this year's reopening school plan looks like. Last week, I think we had 3 or 4 different schedules in a week, and the administrators would get something done, and then they'd be told it had to be changed, and then the Marion County Health Department said, you're going to do this, and so they were like, okay, let's go, let's see what happens. So flexibility in the ever-changing world is also a really important skill that we have to focus on. So ladies and gentlemen, let's be Gumby. Let's just keep battling forward. Again, when these slides began, school started on the 29th of important dates, but now August 5th, I think, is when students come back. We start a little bit earlier than you guys. FTC, we're going to advertise as starting as the August 11th, and FRC is going to meet for the first time back on the 13th. And the next big thing on the list is October 5th through 16th is fall break at this moment. But you never know if they take days from us or move things around or adjust the schedule. That's just what the schedule says now. So some changes in practice days, and I want to explain in detail why this is, but focus on what we're saying first. FTCs are going to meet on Tuesday, and FRC is going to meet on Thursday. This allows for the optional meeting for the other groups. So if FRC needs to do something on Tuesday, they can. And if FTC needs to do something on Thursday, they can. Why is this happening? Well, with the loss of Caleb and most of the adults moving on up with the 8th grade class, I have to be a little more involved in FTC, and moving it to its own day allows me to do that. The FTC kids, if they need to be tool trained, they can come in on Thursday as well. And if we have a mentor that can do that, we can get that done as well. FTC meetings should be also used to do teamwork building, idea sharing, and review past games, kind of the same stuff we do with the high school kids. And if you're a junior or a sophomore on the high school team, you should really care a lot about the 8th graders coming in, because what they come in with is what you get to build your program on. So keep that in mind. And finally, the kickoff, I think, is September 12th. That's the last date I had. And by August 11th, FTC, the words are hard, shut up. By August 11th, FTC should be meeting and begin organizing themselves for the season. FRC, the difference is there are no kids in the building on Wednesdays, period. And the office wanted that, which was helpful because I already wanted to move the day to Thursday anyway. So moving the date to Thursday allows kids who have church and other obligations on Wednesday nights to have an opportunity to attend. This may help us. This may do nothing for us. I don't know. But if you do what you always did, you get what you always got. And right now our numbers are, we're letting kids graduate. More kids are graduating than are coming into the program. And we need to get that number switched, right? So we had to try something. No kids in the building just reaffirmed the fact that this was a good move for us to go ahead and plan for. It allows kids who are staying after school to have a shorter stay after school, and that also includes Mr. Stainich. He didn't have to stay forever on a day that he could be gone a little bit earlier if he did his development in the morning. New first robotics competition, I assume, is going to be January 2nd. I have not seen the official release date yet. But we have to have money and mentors to be competitive. We're real lacking on the money side, and on the mentor side, we have some of the same old faces back, but we are going to lose some faces. So we need to make sure that we have the right appropriate people in the appropriate spots to help us keep building forward. And by August 13th, we should be able to start meeting with FRC. Here we go, more health stuff. Mr. Knight also shared the health and safety protocols with us, some things that need to be done. So masks are going to have to be worn in the building. If you have COVID, symptoms, don't come to school. Water bottles are a thing that can happen. You'll notice that they increase the number of cafeteria periods and no outside food delivery, which means you can't eat and practice anymore. Seating charts are really important for us. So what we need to do is not only document what groups kids are with, to the best of our ability, but also make sure when they're done with that we wipe things down when the kids leave. So I'm going to ask for adults' help with that. Again, wearing a mask, I don't care what your political view is, it's above my pay grade. The end game is you have to wear a mask when you come to school. So here's what they said, and for us to practice, I'll wear a mask. So teachers have to wear a mask, students have to wear a mask, and teachers also then mean not only teachers, but also the mentors, because they're acting as teacher role. So they have to have face shields or masks on. Other schedule changes. During the practices, we got to keep track of kids who are there, when they're present, when they leave, and to the best of our ability, who they've been around, if they're intermixing. And so I'll explain a little bit more about that in a minute. There's no more eating during practice. We were told that COVID spreads primarily through saliva drops in the air, which is why they think masks might help. So obviously they've opened it up to 4 lunch periods with half the kids in the building every other day, right? So if they've done that, that means they're real serious about worrying about lunch. They're going to give kids assigned seats at lunch, because that way they can, do tracking to see who you've been around in case it spreads, in case we get a case of COVID in our school. They know who was around you, and that tracking system that they're trying to work on. So those are some things that are kind of important. And then practice is going to be project focused. Now, one of the things I think that will help us as a team to monitor some data is I think it's this button here. Let's see. I created this document. It's actually up, live, and running. And so when a student logs in, it'll say their name up here in the top. They'll be able to see the outreach hours and events they've attended. So there's the hours, there's the number of events. Am I getting a varsity letter? Can I travel? How much money have I raised? And then I sign out or sign in up here. And when I hit submit, it'll sign me in and out. paperwork. I'll be able to see if I have paperwork in or out, what paperwork I still need to have turned in, and it'll lead me also to STEMs if I need to go to STEMs. So that system should help us a little bit in organizing our documentation and making sure we know who's in the building and who's not. I'll have certain stations in the room set up with that website pulled up. So all you have to do is walk in, log in, sign in, and then when you sign out, do the same thing. Which also means if you don't sign out before you leave, you're going to have this ridiculously number of hours, and we can't count that. So that's important as well. So here we go. Continuing to battle forward. The leadership class. Every year we try to have a leadership class so we can decide who the captains are. And captain is a leadership title, not necessarily a leader in charge. And it's an organizational system. It's a business structure as captains. And so our entire district has been pushed to do everything on Canvas. And so I've got most of my classes already set up on Canvas. So we're going to have 2 spots in Canvas that I created. One of those is the general CyberCard spot, and the other one of those is the Leadership Academy. And so kids who want to become captains or kids who want to be good leaders, period, should go to the Leadership Academy tab and go through that program. I'll set a firm date on that once it's all completed to make sure we can pick captains correctly. And then I think only if there are changes will kids have to redo the Leadership Academy. And I'll post it in Slack once it's all ready to go. I have almost all of it up and running. There's a couple of things I need to tweak, but when they redid the schedules, I had to go back and redo my classes first because, well, that's what I get paid to do. So there we go. The CyberCard class, we're going to work on kind of a join the team module. So it's kind of like when you get a new job, and when you go to the new job, there's a bunch of paperwork you have to fill out. This is going to be that spot. It was presented by, I believe, Jamie and Mrs. Borho, that we have a spot like that, and I figured there's no better spot than Canvas to do that because you can upload it, it'll track it, I can download it from there, we never lose it, so that's kind of handy for us. Our Canvas course will be a place to go. Also, I think it would be really amazing if we can get some of our veterans to create CAD exercises or put the equipment training online, do some programming trainings, and have it all go through Canvas so we can actually document what kids are doing and then be able to give that information back to the kid at the end and say, here's all the stuff you've done. Here's how you've grown. All right. Throwing a lot at you right now, drinking through a fire hose, but here we go. In terms of money, we have 2 banks of money, the FRC and the FTC money. But when I met with Chrissy, we had about $3,500 in the bank, and that was for both teams. We don't have any opportunity to get Cage back up and going this year because Andy Mark said they won't give us the field because they're, obviously they haven't used the field yet for real competition except for 1 or 2, and they want to reuse those. RES got bought out, and then COVID-19 hit, and so they're not going to give us the $5,000 we thought they were going to give us, so that really hurt us a lot. First is still requiring us to pay $5,000 to play. We get $1,000 back from last year, so it's about $4,000 for us to play. But I also think it's fair that we try to do something for the kids who put in all the work and effort and blood, sweat, and tears last year and didn't get to compete. So what we're hoping to be able to do is that the kids who paid their full dues last year have an opportunity to get a discount. And it should go something like this, right? A veteran student who completely paid their full dues. If you paid all $400 last year and then did not get to compete, this year you'll pay $250, and that'll start covering basically the robot upgrades and fixes, and the miscellaneous expenses we have to go through in the beginning, and hopefully some transportation, but we'll see what the competitions are. A veteran student who only paid partial dues is going to pay the full price because they didn't pay it full last time. So, and then rookies obviously haven't done anything yet, so they're going to pay the full price. An FTC kid coming into FRC is a rookie. So That's money. You got to have money to compete. The good news on the money front is we got about a $5,000 donation from an anonymous donor. We don't have to buy apparel, so we have most of our apparel in shop. We might have to buy one or two things, but the majority of it we already have. We have the majority of the big robot built. And depending on the location of the tournaments, we may not have to pay that much for travel, depending on where they're at. I'm kind of hoping they're at the same places, because that would have been really cheap for us and saved us some money, but we'll see what happens. So, all of money. Again, I showed you where the dues can be tracked online for the kids. We're going to have some firm dates for payments of money. And what I mean by firm is we're going to be emailing parents. We're going to be sending bills home with kids. We're going to be really pushing money. And it isn't because we're out to get paid for everything, but we have to have money to compete. We have to have money to get things done. And every other program, from choir to band to drama club to, spell bowl, they have to pay their dues. So there's zero reason for us to not do that as well. And quite honestly, we pay a lot less than most schools around us. So kids who don't pay and have not worked out an agreement with me, somewhere on one of the buttons over here on the side, I think, there's a form for people to fill out if they want to try to get a waiver or a scholarship for their kid. But that'll be worked out between them and I. And if they haven't worked that out with me and I have it, on that form and in writing, then I can't keep doing that. Well, I talked to Snot about it, and then me forgetting that we had a conversation. So I have to document that a little better. And that's my attempt with the form over. I think it's on that side. All right, here we go. The firm breakdown of goals. So money breakdown. So these are the dates and the amount that I think could happen that month. So 400, take all those, add them together, you get about $400, right? If you work at some Dine to Donates, if you do your own fundraisers, if we come up with some other opportunities for you to make some money, that's what we think could be paid. And again, November was higher than everything else because, well, that's the other 25. And it made more sense than trying to put it in December or August, where August you have back to school fees and December you have Christmas to buy. So again, we had $3,500. FTC is still a different ship for me because of the way they tried to run it last year. I'm trying to get it back in the swing of things. So the dues are going to still be $300 until I meet with parents and have a discussion. The FRC build plan, we got to focus on finishing. That's our entire MO this year, is focus on finishing. So things that need to be done, tool training, because we made a hard rule last year that we really wanted to get every kid tool trained every year for safety purposes. So we start with tool training. We got to finish the robot, and then we can redesign or improve, if you will. I don't want changes, because changes can mean good or bad, but we need to improve. We need to improve it, not just change it for the competition. And then we got to finish version 1 of the police bot and finish the zoo toys, hopefully all by fall break. With that said, we have to focus on finishing, right? We started all this stuff. We have great ideas every year, and I'm just as guilty as everybody else by having the cool new greatest idea. And then we started and we don't finish it, and then we move on to the next thing, and then we start it, then we don't finish it, and move on to the next thing. This year, I just want to stay tunnel vision, really focused on finishing the basic stuff that we started. And then from there, we can add other opportunities in. So here's what I think we have to do. We were asked to try to, in our classes, separate kids as much as possible, and in activities after school, separate kids as much as possible. So what I'd like to do is divide our team up into some small groups. And so the Rob and Jason are going to lead the robot competition completion part, because they know exactly what's left to be done. There isn't that much left to be done. Most of the parts are already put together. We just got to put all of those parts together into one bot, I think, and then prep for any kind of changes and get the models up to date and stuff. The police bot, Dylan and Caleb said that they would take it on together, and that way we have 2 adults working through the police bot, and we can hopefully get that done by fall break. The zoo toys, Ginger is going to take over the zoo toys, and so what's going to happen is those are the 3 main focus groups So when kids come in, they're going to be on one of those groups, and that's what they're going to be working on. And so Rob and Jason's group, they're going to go to the shop, and they're going to work from the shop. If there's anything that needs to be shared to the whole group, I will give it to Rob and Jason, and they will share it with their group. I'll give it to Dylan and Caleb, and they'll share it with their group, and the same with Ginger. If we have a lot of extra kids, which we don't have typically, but if we have extra kids, the back burner project is the outreach bot, and I think Kevin will do that. And Kevin is moving up from FTC, so he knows a lot of the younger kids as well. And that'd be a good bot for the FTC kids who are moving up to work on, depending on the number of kids. But our first three are the top, and then the back burner is the outreach bot. That is the goal of our build plan. And for build season, I don't know, adapt and overcome. If we have one, let's make the best of it, right? Make the best of it, improvise, adapt and overcome, right? That's our goal. From there, the FTC build plan, they had a police dog thing going on, but we got to figure that out. We got to introduce the kids to each other and make them start becoming more of a team, more of a family. And then we got to break into some skill building stuff, and then it's September, and then you're competing. So that's kind of the breakdown for FTC so far. Big improvements and opportunities that we have available, and this is stuff I've been working on. I just wanted to share with you all that I've been working on it. There's a TV ad on one of the buttons that I want you to share with all your buddies, right? We don't own any of the data or most of the video that's in it. First does, but I kind of clipped them up and put them together and added an ad for us. There's also a flyer created for FTC and FRC, and those buttons are down below. And those buttons allow us to print those flyers out, give them to people, email them to people to start getting people on board. I've got meetings set up so we can talk with the Key Club and the National Honor Society. And Mr. Knight and the office staff said that they're not going to use Parent Square, but they're going to send it out to parents because we didn't do back to school activities, so they're going to send it off to parents. From there, Mr. Ashcraft is no longer at Southport High School. He took over the middle school. So that may open us up to a little more opportunity to work with the middle school, at the middle school, and maybe advertise at the middle school. So hopefully there's something positive that'll come out of that for us. Next is communication. I believe the website that we got up and running is going to be really good to give information, like all the buttons I just posted around this video. Slack works well if the people are on the inside. I need to add the parents into some of this organization stuff. And then we'll have a parent Slack channel and a kid Slack channel, and we should be good to go from there. The Canvas videos and the Canvas stuff is going to be really helpful for us to organize our data. We need kids to work with social media. I am not a social person, but I know there are a lot of kids out there who want to learn how to design social media content, so let's let them do it for us. Share that with your buddies, okay? The online system is available, and kids know what forms they are. I just showed it to you. Again, it's an ever-changing world, so as we use these systems, that we may use them and go, my God, this sucks, and never do it again. We may use it and go, man, this is great. One of the programmers may look at it and go, if we added this one feature, it would be way easier, way better. And we can just start piling on to what we've got to make us even better, okay? This is just what I came up with as a starting point. So, with that said, here we go. Canvas to help organize documents, the website to give information to everyone. So Canvas is inside, website is outside, social media is everybody in the world, and the online system, again, is inside data so that we know what forms and varsity letters and all that stuff. I really hope it works out the way I think it can work out. From there, Mrs. Baxter wanted to know more about what can we do instead of cage match. And there have been ideas thrown around, everything from create our own little mini competition to a scrimmage match of last year's game using the wood field, maybe Center Grove's wood field and our wood parts or something. I've been approached by the high school, a college rover program called the University Rover Challenge. And they want to do a high school version, so I've talked to them a little bit. And then we also got offered a competition for FTC if we want to do an FTC competition at our school. So that's just something that to look at for the future and see if that's something that we want to maybe try. We wouldn't even have to use the big gym, I don't think, if we did an FTC competition. We could use the small gym and put pits and everything in one spot, I think. So there's that. Last but not least, you're going to see some changes in the classroom. Hopefully, I'll have dual monitors for every computer, hopefully soon. I'm going to get some TVs and stuff. Amazon gave me an award, so Teacher of the Year. And they're going to give me $25,000 to do stuff with my classroom to help spread technology to students. So the goal is make my classroom pretty cute. And if you come into the classroom, there's hopefully going to be new stuff happening starting in August. New stuff should be appearing in my classroom because that's when the money starts to roll in. And then Amazon's going to give me another $25,000 worth of Amazon stuff. I don't know what that is yet, but it could be cool, right? If you have any questions, hit me up in Slack or shoot an email to me. Share with your family and friends when the meetings are. Share the flyers, share the data, and the 30-second wrap-up, here we go. If you listen to nothing else, this is where you draw your focus. FRC practice is August 13th. FTC practice is August 11th. You have to have a mask to come back to school. There's no eating in school or eating in practice, so eat before you come. Okay? That includes snack, that includes chips, that includes anything. You cannot eat in the rooms. So you can bring a water bottle, and that's it. We'll work in small groups, hopefully, to finish out these projects. Canvas is going to be helpful to organize stuff. The web app will help with communication, hopefully. And Coach Snod won an award, and it's kind of a big deal now. What's up? So, with that said, Snod out. Until we meet again next time, Snodgrass out. Peace.